Welcome to Enquiry into Self. And this is the third in a 7-part series where I'm sharing my personal experience of arriving to feeling peace as the nature of existence, even during upheaval. So, with the last one, I was talking about how I explored within me the same feelings that I would say are at the core of most conflict, if not all conflict. And that gave me a position from which I stopped seeing anybody as evil. Because I could see inside myself when I have those motivations of, clutching for what I think is mine and imagining that other people will be fine without what I'm taking. I really wasn't, I would say, evil. I was maybe confused, immature, ignorant, in a scarcity mindset. So I have to assume that most likely other people are in similar positions. So looking at that, I start to become willing to go 100% towards somebody else who seemed stuck. So, in some relationships, things start to tweeter out and, they go into different stages and they can even end. But there's one particular friendship where it really mattered to me that we stayed in relationship. And this person was angry at me and not talking to me. So I could have just let that be because I couldn't see what I had done wrong, and I was quite happy to let it go in some aspects. But like I said, the relationship mattered to me, and I wanted to learn. So I was willing to assume that in their understanding, he was doing the best he could, and that I need to go 100% towards him, bridge the gap. So I asked, what had I done wrong? And it turned out he'd been offended by something that I thought I was doing for him. And to him, it hadn't come across that way. So at first, the apology he wanted wasn't simply, I'm sorry that I did that. He wanted me to say, I was wrong to have done that. It was not a right thing for me to do. I would never do that again. And etc. I need to admit that my intentions were bad and that I wasn't going to do that again. It was hard for me to get to that point. I really had to be in his shoes for quite some time. And finally, I did come to a place where I could say that in response to what he had perceived. And indeed, in helping him when he didn't obviously want the help, yeah, I had had less confidence in his capabilities. So I made the apology. Things were much better. And then we got together again for an outing. And I watched carefully, and we were out in nature. I was enjoying myself. We were talking. And I noticed at various times he seemed to have this little reaction to things that I said. And again, I did not understand how I could be offending him. But by the end, um, I could tell there was just this unease between us. We said goodbye, and there was no exchange for a while after that. So again, I looked very closely, and I noticed that when I had been talking about the plants with, whatever knowledge I had about them, that seemed to be the trigger. And apparently, he was making some kind of comparisons. It felt to him like I don't know exactly. Maybe he thought I was pretending I was too knowledgeable or superior in some way. It was certainly a trigger, and our relationship wasn't such that we could have a discussion. But I got that me sharing knowledge could be a trigger. So I was able to initiate interaction again, and this time I really held the intention to stay in a more receptive student beginner mind kind of place the whole time we were together. And it went so great. And then we had another exchange, and it continued like that. So whatever I was doing that was triggering him had finally stopped. And it's been very gratifying. So there was the experience of just assuming that this person was 100% right in their perception. And I was willing to be whatever it took, be the nothing, be the simple, be, you know, just be a quieter version here that would fit for this person, and willing to go 100%. And it made me recognize that peace isn't necessarily about always reaching understanding or finding the common goals and getting to this wonderful place of harmony and mutuality. Sometimes peace requires going the full 100%. And for all I know, he could have been feeling like he was going the 100% too. But um, peace, feeling that capacity within myself and feeling what it takes. It is no small thing to ask other people to make peace. It is no small thing to ask other countries to make peace. It is no small thing to ask people in a great deal of power to make peace. If I don't know what it really takes in my life and in my smaller realm, then how can I ask it of them? But as I start to really invest in understanding the depth of that, it really had me get what it is that I'm asking of them. And the more I do it, the more I feel like it becomes available in the human consciousness. So that gave me another understanding and appreciation of what peace is within me and what drops away as I open to it, and that it's actually completely available as we reach those stages of being okay with being nothing, being okay with being the student. So that helped me understand peace a lot more. And now we'll continue on to the next step.